Nearly 500 COVID-19 cases reported in people who crowded Milwaukee Bucks Deer District during NBA playoffs. CNN. Nearly 500 cases of COVID-19 have been reported in people who congregated in Milwaukee's Deer District to cheer on the Milwaukee Bucks during the NBA playoffs last month. At least 491 cases have arisen from people who self-declared they attended a Deer District gathering at some point during the month of July. According to Milwaukee Health Department spokesperson Emily Tao. But health officials cautioned that while the 491 confirmed cases were from people who either attended an NBA Finals game inside the arena or gathered in the Deer District while the games were being played, they cannot be sure the virus was acquired in these settings. We don't know if the Deer District was necessarily the point of contraction, but that they had attended these large gatherings, Tao told CNN. The Bucks' NBA championship victory on July 20 brought over 100,000 people to the entertainment district outside the team's home arena, according to the Milwaukee Police Department. But the Deer District had served as a site for fans to gather throughout the NBA postseason. In an email Wednesday, Wisconsin Department of Health Services spokesperson Elizabeth Goodsett acknowledged the numbers are likely an undercount, saying there could be cases among people who attended the events, got sick and did not report, or instances where officials had incomplete information. WDHS contact tracers are still conducting interviews and are routinely asking people who have COVID-19 about any large events they might have attended. This question allows us to gather information on a wide variety of large gatherings, including the basketball victory celebrations, Goodsett said. CNN has reached out to the Milwaukee Bucks for comment. Wisconsin has seen an uptick in COVID-19 cases like much of the country, which is reeling from the highly transmissible Delta variant. According to a CNN analysis of data from Johns Hopkins University, on Wednesday, the state's 7-day average of new daily cases was about 1,024 reported cases per day over the week prior, up from about 87 reported cases per day a month earlier. In a news conference Tuesday, City of Milwaukee Health Commissioner Kirsten Johnson emphasized the reported number of cases in people who had attended a Deer District gathering was for the entire month of July, not just the day of the finals. If you look at the total number of cases connected to the Deer District over the past month compared to the total number of cases in the state, it's really not that significant, Johnson said. But she also acknowledged that people weren't just attending events in the Deer District. They were also going to bars and parties at friends' houses and family events, and people are gathering with others, she said. And that is going to cause a spread. Johnson urged people who had attended any large events to get tested for COVID-19 to ensure they would not spread the virus to anyone who remains unvaccinated. CNN's Karma Hassan and David Close contributed to this report. A venomous West African banded cobra is missing in a Texas neighborhood. CNN. Wildlife experts are setting out traps and searching a Grand Prairie, Texas, neighborhood for a large, venomous West African banded cobra that's been missing since Tuesday evening. We don't know if the snake is long gone, or if the snake is still in the house. But we have not been able to locate it, Grand Prairie Police Public Information Officer Mark Beseda told CNN. Grand Prairie is a city of about 200,000 people between Dallas and Fort Worth. The owner of the 6-foot-long cobra realized the snake had escaped its enclosure at about 5 p.m. on Tuesday and called 911, police said in a news release on Wednesday. City Animal Services, the owner and a private reptile removal expert have been searching for the snake without success. Police are urging residents to call 911 immediately if they see the snake, and warned that it was dangerous to approach or try to capture the snake. We haven't got anything on it. No sightings. or tips or calls on different snakes, Beseda said. He said it's a pretty populated neighborhood with lots of cars, foot traffic and kids playing, so they rarely hear about snakes in the area. Police said the owner had a permit to own the snake from the state of Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. CNN was not able to contact the snake's owner, but he told CNN affiliate KTVT that he believed the snake was dead. "I wanted my community to feel safe. And yeah, it's required. I'm required as a permitted citizen to call my community if something's a mishap," owner Trey Matt told KTVT. Grand Prairie Animal Services said that a local ordinance prohibits owning wild animals within the city limits, in a post on its Facebook page. "We are looking at a city ordinance violation. We're also exploring, did he violate some type of state law for being negligent on the snake getting out of its cage," Beseda said. "We have not charged him or arrested him or done anything. We're simply exploring all of our options." The Grand Prairie Police and Fire Departments alerted area hospitals about the cobra and initiated a protocol with Parkland Hospital in Dallas to treat anyone who might be bitten by the snake. 450,000 honeybees have been occupying the walls of this home for 35 years. They just got rehomed. CNN, Sarah Weaver and her husband knew their newest home purchase in Pennsylvania needed some extra love and attention. But what they didn't know is that an estimated 450,000 bees had been living in the walls for almost 35 years. Weaver bought the 1872 farmhouse in Skipack, about 30 miles northwest of Philadelphia, in December and told CNN the seller's disclosure mentioned there were bees in the wall. But since the couple bought the home in the winter, she said the bees didn't seem to pose much of a threat at the time of purchase. On the seller's disclosure it said, "Bees in wall," and that was it, and I think because 1, we didn't see them, and 2, we were just so floored that we actually found land in the school district that was within our price range that I didn't really ask any questions about those bees. I didn't think it would be that big of an issue. It didn't even cross my mind, but when spring arrived that's when we started to see them. The seller's husband passed away and I'm not sure what exactly happened, but she wasn't living there. The condition this house was in was horrendous," Weaver said. "It was so dirty, and now that I'm thinking about it, I originally thought it was dirt on the windows that I cleaned, but it was probably honey because there were drip marks." Honeybees' greatest importance to agriculture isn't a product of the hive. According to the FDA, the agricultural benefit of honeybees is estimated to be between 10 and 20 times the total value of honey and beeswax, data from the FDA says. Beekeepers across the United States lost 45.5% of their managed honeybee colonies from April 2020 to April 2021. According to preliminary results from the 15th annual nationwide survey conducted by the nonprofit Bee Informed Partnership, more than 20,000 species of bee exist throughout the world, and they are dying, thanks to climate change, pesticide poisoning and plant loss. The couple didn't do a home inspection, and Weaver admits they probably should have opted for one, but she and her husband had been waiting patiently for a home in the neighborhood to hit the market. So when the farmhouse popped up on their radar, they jumped at the opportunity. A $12,000 fix to remove the unwanted house guests now. That opportunity is costing them almost $12,000 in bee removal and reconstruction of the home. After searching high and low for the best person to handle the job, the Weavers found Alan Latanzi, a general contractor and professional experienced beekeeper in the area. When Latanzi pulled up to the home, he knew he had been there before. He was called out 4 years prior, but the previous owner couldn't bear the cost of removal, so she left them there and ended up selling the home. Latanzi estimates there were 450,000 bees living within the walls of the farmhouse, and he relocated 3 honeybee colonies. The home's bees make on their own, to Yerke's honey farm, his farm where he houses honeybees in hives, which are man-made boxes, over the span of a week. Lattanzi removed each and every tile on the portion of the home the bees occupied, treading carefully to not harm the bees and find the queen, which he found Friday. The farmhouse is seen before the bee removal, left, and during the process, right. The weavers are renting the farmhouse to tenants right now, with plans to eventually live there themselves one day. The current tenants hadn't reported seeing any honey dripping down walls inside the home apart from seeing a few bees buzz outside the home once spring rolled around. The bees were docile for a colony that has been in there for a while, Lattanzi said. Normally when a colony is in a dwelling for a while they're usually defensive. Normally when I pull a slate tile off a house I'm instantaneously covered in very defensive bees attacking me. But most of these girls were pretty docile. Throughout the entire process I may have only gotten stung 5 or 6 times. And even though Weaver has to fork out the change for the home repairs and honeybee removal, and it's caused the couple quite the headache, she said it's their only option if they want to be able to add on to the home or live in it themselves.